On the river, on sails of ships, in the marshes, clouds of light and dark, on the wind and forest air, tempests and byways cold and stark. There and everywhere, shadows never parting. You're every line I've on the river, on sails of ships, in the marshes, clouds of light and dark, on the wind and forest air, tempests and byways cold and stark. There and everywhere, shadows never parting. You're every line I've
You're listening to Chameleon Church, biblical antidotes for the modern man, with your host, Allan Aguirre.
Hello, hello. What's up, boys?
Good morning.
How's it going, guys?
You look nice. You look
whoa.
cheerful and sunny and
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Lenny.
there you go.
Oh, my gosh.
So how was your night? How was
Chris,
that
are you-
nice little trip of yours?
Chris, are you cheerful and sunny?
Yeah.
Sun's not up yet. Nope.
How are you guys doing?
All right.
Yeah. So I didn't actually see last week's show. How'd it go? What do you guys talk about?
It was the best show there ever was. I mean,
I believe it. I believe it.
got
The numbers were skyrocketing, off the charts, baby.
wow, a week ago, I can't even remember.
I know.
I mean, you have to poll the audience.
At the
No, I
time,
can
it
look
felt
it
like
up.
the spirit was moving.
We
I can always go back and watch
we
it.
talked
You know,
about
well,
the Soul Crusher book. Remember that? Honestly, I can't even remember. Sorry.
It's all right.
Reviews say last night was awesome.
Yes, it was part 2 of chapter 2 of Romans. So it's still brand new, man. Get in on it early in the start. It's crazy because it's not a commentary. So Monday Night Gathering, we do a thing called Monday Night Gathering, and we just started on my new book Romans, and we just finished chapter 2. And if you want to, if you I don't know if you don't know about it, go to chameleonchurch.com/live. I guess I can put that up there, or if somebody
I got it. Here
Thanks.
Oh wait.
And that'll set you up. You can either join us on Zoom or watch it on YouTube or Facebook Monday nights. So we did chapter 2, and it's the narrative is that Paul did not teach the law. In fact, Paul actually taught against the law, and the Judaizers were trying to get his Gentile believers to obey the law, and Paul was against their proselytizing Torah, the law, to his Gentile believers. That is all a demonic lie. Nothing like that even remotely close happened. None of that is even in the New Testament. What I just said, that's just the lies of Christendom. And you got to remember the agenda that they've had since taking over, kicking the Jew out of his own club, and then taking it over, second and third centuries. With Catholicism, actually created this false narrative, and then because Protestantism is Reformed Catholicism, it just continued. So anyway, so this narrative that Paul didn't teach the law, that Paul was anti-law, is completely not true, and it's absolutely dispelled even with his own words and the words of his own pastor, James, the brother of Jesus, the leader of the church in Jerusalem. So anyway, we're in chapter 2. We can't even get through chapter 2 without drowning
Time out.
without drowning in the Torah. It's like that is all that he's doing. He's teaching the Torah left and right. So chapter 1 is basically about sin and people that do sin, and that the people that sin are actually knowingly sinning. Right? It's not like they don't know about God. They're knowingly sinning, and then God, because they're knowingly sinning, delivers them over to their own devices. And then in chapter 2, he starts talking about the new covenant, and he's talking about circumcision and how if you're a Gentile that's not circumcised, but you keep the law, that's circumcision to you. But if you're a Jew who is circumcised physically and doesn't keep the law, or you're a hypocrite, that it makes your circumcision null and void. And then he starts talking. So he explains all that, and then he's talking about the various sins of the 10 commandments. If you're covetous, if you're a thief, if you're a liar, if you're an adulterer, and you're circumcised, your circumcision doesn't give you a free pass. You're a hypocrite, and you shouldn't be doing that. But the Gentile who is keeping those instructions, keeping those rules, is being obedient unknowingly, that it's circumcision to him. And then he drops the bomb. Again, we're only in chapter 2. He drops the bomb that circumcision is of the heart. It's not physical or outward, right? This is God's intention of this covenant that he's made through Abraham. And he's going to explain, he's going to even drill down even more regarding Abraham coming up. But he explains how It's spiritual. It's 100% spiritual. Again, it's the intention of the heart. Jesus explains that in Matthew 5, but that's lost on Christendom as well. But what people don't understand is the whole concept of circumcision being from the heart is based on Deuteronomy, the law, the Torah. And there's just no escaping it. And then he talks about the new covenant. And it's like, well, where's the first time this new covenant idea pops up? Jeremiah. Oh, there's the Torah again. There's the Old Testament. And Jeremiah explains what this new covenant is and how just Christians have it all wrong. Just they have every detail wrong. And then, it makes me, then of course I can't help but start thinking about that one critique I got, that my Romans book grieved this individual because they concluded, I don't know how far they went into the book, but they concluded that I was pushing a works-based mentality. I was pushing a works-based faith. And the only way, and so I'm reading my book again, because I put it into my teleprompter, and so I go through it, and then here we are reading it and teaching it. I'm going through it and expounding on it, and we're only, like I said, in chapter 2, and I can't help think, but you have to completely ignore what he's actually saying, the proof text that he's literally quoting from the Old Testament. And you just have to totally ostrich head in the sand, la 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 la, to come to get anywhere close to thinking that I am perverting or twisting Paul and pushing a works-based mentality faith profile. That you have to be so completely terrified of the truth to disregard what's being said, what Paul is saying, not Allan Aguirre, what Paul is saying and teaching, and to totally just dismiss it like this individual did. And it's absolutely terrifying. And I wish I hadn't known this, because it's like when you put out a new record and you read the reviews. I try to then listen to my music with their ears, what they're hearing and how they're hearing it. You know what I'm saying? In the same way, I'm trying to read this the way someone that dismisses this, I want to read it like they're reading it to see where is it, what, why are they dismissing it? What are they coming up with to dismiss it? And I can't. It's too plain. It's in there. It's simply in there. He's quoting the Old Testament. But then all you have to do is look at the premise of Paul and his ministry as apostle to the Gentiles. That alone should alter your position, should alter your perspective, should alter what it is you've been told. Because the narrative regarding Paul and his ministry is he was brought to salvation so that he could unpack Torah to pagans, Gentiles, without a reference experience. That were complete. What does he say in Ephesians? You were far removed. You were so not in the picture when it came to things of God, the Bible, the scriptures, right? You were his covenants, his precepts. You're totally clueless regarding God, who he is, what he's done, what he's going to do. But through Jesus and the blood of Messiah, you've now been brought close. And he's the one that was chosen to explain, to unpack, and to teach, to give Gentiles a scriptural foundation to their newfound faith. Well, when you come to the conclusion that, we don't need that, that's Old Testament, that's Old Covenant, that's for Jews, you completely destroy the whole purpose for Paul existing. It's just bizarre. So anyway, we're barely in chapter 2, and we're drowning in Torah in a good way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, yeah, last night was pretty good. You guys missed out. You should have been there. Welcome to Tuesday, everybody.
Coming Tuesday, I feel better.
Ansley Dunbar on drums. So what's going on with you boys?
You look. I'm asking you. You look refreshed. How was your little trip? Tell us about it. I saw the ocean blue.
So my wife and I haven't gotten away alone for about 4 years. It's been a while. And we like going to Florida because the beaches are warmer. The water's warmer. Warmer than Southern California, for example. They're going to have warmer weather year-round than Southern California. And the ocean, whether you're on the Atlantic or on the Caribbean side, is going to be, the water's going to be warmer than Southern California. So, you know, plus it's a different vibe. And so we like going there. And, you know, last time we were there about 4 years ago or something like that, we went down to the Keys, and my wife really digs Key West because it reminds her of the Philippines. Very much so. All the different things, you know. And so you know, she wanted to go see that. She wanted to go down there and you know, actually spend a little bit more time there, because we went down there, like I said, 4 years ago, and we barely had a couple hours there. And she, you know, she wanted to spend a couple days there. And then since we're in the Keys, even though the Keys don't have like the beach that I like, the beaches beach, you know, the Keys are more, it's more a fishing. If the Keys are more for fishing, whereas the mainland, you know, Vero and, you know, that side of the Atlantic coast and all that. Well, I love St. Pete and all that in Tampa, but anyway, that's more like beach like that. So, and our son and his wife, they were going to meet us there, so we went together alone. COVID. And then so we were going. He convinced me that I needed to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been fly fishing since like 1991. I used to do a lot of saltwater fly fishing in Southern California, and I've always wanted to fly fish for bonefish on the flats in Florida. So he like insisted, we need to do that. We need to, you know, get a guide and have them take us out on the flats and fly fish for bonefish. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do that. So you know, we got there really late on Saturday and stayed at a hotel near the airport. Woke up on Sunday, and Sunday we made our trek down to the Keys, and we were going to meet up with my son. We were going to meet up with them on Monday. His wife would go down and hang out with Christina in Key West, and Corin, my son, and I would go do some fly fishing on Monday. So Sunday was a travel day, you know, little leisure drive day. Beautiful weather, 80 degrees and blah, blah, blah. You know, that's why we went. We went down there because this is our last week of summer, our last summer hurrah before we get stuck with snow for the next 12, 15
Do you fly into
months.
Tampa, or where do you fly into?
We flew into Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And then it's you know, not that far to get into the Keys from there. So, you know, this is our last week for nice, warm, hot, 80-degree weather that we can, you know, spend on the beach or on the coast. Yeah. Before we come back to Utah and be, you know, in snow for the next, you know, April, May, right? That's a long time with snow. Anyway, so Monday we you know, get up and I go meet up with Corin, go fishing, and Miami experienced a weather event that came in on Monday afternoon. Record unheard of lows in the temps. Unheard of record-breaking low temperatures, which means that front's rolling in on Monday. We actually saw it roll in because we're out in the water. We're in Florida Bay. We're in that bay between the Everglades and the Keys, and it's all flat. It's all 2 to 4 feet deep, that entire bay. So because that front's coming in, if you know anything about fishing, the barometric pressure changes, which means there are no fish to fish. We saw shark and stingrays. That's a weird sign because instead of seeing fish, we saw a bunch of sharks and stingrays. There's no fish. And we're with a guide who's actually a rock star in the Keys. I didn't find out until after the fact. This guy's like a legitimate rock star fly fishing guide on the flats. And he was really frustrated. I mean, he was getting upset with himself because he could not put us on a fish because there were no fish. Because, we're watching this front come in, and we all knew why. Barometric pressure. So by Monday afternoon, evening, by the time we got off the water, everything dropped. Temperature dropped. The wind kicked in. And if you know anything about the Keys, the majority of the restaurants are they're open air. They're like patios. They're like tiki. They're not enclosed because, well, why would you enclose it? It's paradise. It's 80 plus degrees. It was freaking freezing cold. The wind coming off the ocean, the cold front that came in. A friend of mine who lives in Miami actually posted a meme that said, help Florida. No, Florida needs your help. It's in the 40s and the 50s, and all we have are shorts. So, we had an excursion to kayak and snorkel on Tuesday morning that was canceled by the company, because of the dangerous winds. Well, that was Christina's deal. Now she's not going to do her thing. We couldn't find a place to eat. It was too cold. You can't sit outside and eat. It was freezing cold. Started easing up a bit on Wednesday. So we're gonna try and go fishing again on Wednesday. And he's like gonna take us all the way across the bay. All the way across. It's an hour on a skiff, open water, and it was absolutely freezing cold. I was dying. I thought it was horrible. It was horribly cold getting across the bay. Got to the end of the bay, to the other side of the bay. Weather, started getting a little warmer, and we didn't see a single bonefish. Oh, day one, I did get on either it was a shark or a tarpon, but it like 5 feet in front of me just blew up and exploded in water, and my line just. But we were able to catch some fish. We got on to 5 species, but none of them were bone. But we were able to catch some fish, and came back back to the harbor, met up with the girls for lunch, and Christina drops the bomb on me that morning my dog Sasha died in the kennel.
I saw that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, bummer.
What the hell? She apparently went outside to play after breakfast, looked exhausted, fatigued, came back to lay down and take a nap, and never woke up. What the hell? So that was a little disturbing. And, it would take a couple, 2 or 3 days for the weather to start cooperating. By Thursday, we were able to spend some time on the outside in the sun, and sort of wrapping everything up by Friday. So, yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Sounds like a chapter in the Bible. Oh man, sorry.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you know, a lot of people don't know this, but it's very difficult for me and Christina to get out and do a vacation thing. For years, it's been like that. I mean, decades. We'll plan something like this, and the exact opposite. So anyway, it was in the 80s easily up until the day we got there on Sunday, and then everything dropped to the 40s to 60s. Barely got out of the 60s. We left on Saturday, and guess what happened when we left? Back to the 80s. Everything went back to normal. But the entire time we were there, suckage. It's not uncommon for us to try and get away like that. You know, a little vacation, a romantic getaway, whatever, without some sort of drama happening. I know one time, for example, I mean, this happens all the time. It's bizarre. It's very rare that we can get away and nothing happen, either what to us out there or back at home. It's very rare, very very rare. One time we went on a little romantic getaway. Got an old, an old Airbnb. This is while we were in Texas, and we got there, and we're sitting in the lobby of this Airbnb, and this place is usually packed, like capacity. That night, the night that we were going to be there, the first night we were going to be there, there's nobody in the Airbnb. It's just us. We're like, well, that's weird. Where's everybody at? And I started noticing some of the pictures in the parlor. Back in the 1800s or whatever, they would take photographs of dead people, like if they were still alive, to like remember them. And there was some of those pictures in the parlor, and I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And apparently this place used to be like an orphanage, and it was like a house of ill repute. It was all these things throughout the couple hundred years old that it was. And now it was this woman's Airbnb that she ran. And so we get into our room. It's just my wife and I and her. And we're like on the second floor. And this is huge. It's like the hallways are huge. They're all wood. And it's just this really old, house. And we start getting tornado warnings. And not only do we start getting tornado warnings, but well, I'll just cut to the quick. The place is freaking haunted, and there's all sorts of demonic activity happening. I mean, outside of our door, you can hear them, you can feel them. It's like off the charts. And so we're like, we need to go, and we felt really pressed to go and talk to this woman and pray for this woman who owns this place. So we go downstairs, knock on her room. She come out. We're talking in the hallway. There's like, benches in the hallway. They're wide hallways. And we're sitting there talking with her, and it all comes out. Yeah, the place is haunted, and they sometimes market it as such, whereas like paranormal activity, doors, cut down the hall, stuff like that. We felt and heard little kid feet running between us in the hallways while we're talking to this woman. She was an elder's wife. Husband had an affair. They ended up getting divorced, and she was shamed by the church, even though she did nothing wrong. It was her husband that did it all. And so that turned her off to church and Christianity, because, she's like this victim, and the church totally dropped the ball on how to deal with it. And so we got to pray for her and minister to her. But the entire, and then we realized that's why we're the only ones here, so that we could spend a couple hours ministering to this woman while the house itself is coming alive. And we're just trying to get a couple nights in a little romantic getaway, and we can't even do that without walking into freaking thick of battle. So we're a little bummed, we're a little surprised, but we're not surprised. It's not uncommon, and it's just like, could we get a break? Just a little break. Just a little sunlight, a little no drama. How about things don't die around us while we're out and about? You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm trying to be dramatic when I share with you guys that we really covet and need your prayer support, and I know you do, because it's like it's real, and we're not trying to be dramatic. No, who has time for that? We don't need to be dramatic. It's already dramatic for us. But that's why we're always asking for your prayer support and your covering in even the silliest little things. You know, people should be able to go on vacation without having to, whatever. But we're apparently on the front lines, and the enemy is always trying to sift us, and we're having to always. So that's why we always ask for your prayer support, to keep us in your prayers. Not just me, but and Christina, but our children, our grandchildren, now apparently our pets, because we tend to upset the negative spiritual realm out there, and they don't like us doing what we do. So, not trying to be dramatic, just it is what it is.
I have to say that it's pretty par for what's happening right now too. It's prophetic, I think, in one way. Not that we like this kind of stuff, but I was been hearing all these little words from people around, just, and not from around where I live, but saying things like, watch out for the voices you hear. And they seem to be unsure of themselves on every step. And one of the words I got in some of my observations was, we're in a season of unpredictability where, yeah, our eyes definitely have to be in our faith, in obedience, because one person brought this up. The weather report was supposed to be thus, and it wasn't. It was just the opposite. And then they looked at the whole region of from Washington all the way down to California. Everything flipped weather-wise, and there's no standard of a predictability right now. And I'm going, well, it sounds like some of the things that God's doing in the spirit. He's turning things over, and he kind of, I sensed in my heart, this is the first time this ever come up. We're coming up to Hanukkah, right? Whatever people's view of whatever that was, but in history, it was a time of immense battle. When the Maccabees came into Jerusalem, and the overturning in what Antiochus Epiphanes did on the altar, and all that kind of stuff, the craziness that was going on. It seems like they were outmatched, but yet at the same time, they stayed true. They really defeated some powerful forces, but it wasn't with this assurance. It was just like one day at a time. They stayed obedient. They did what they needed to do. And I'm looking in the natural here, and I'm going, oh boy, I've been sensing a lot of I had a dream last night, like I was in America, but I was hiding out because there was all this martyrdom going on around me. I'm going, I don't like this dream. I want to get out of this. And it wasn't like people were talking other languages around me. And I was wearing a shirt that seemed to represent exactly what I was all about and what I believed in. And I'm going, I can't take this off, but I'm hiding out because my life, my spiritual life, is being attacked. So I'm trying to put all this together, and I'm going, wow, it's a season of unpredictability, I think, because God is moving, the enemy is moving. And like you said, we can't take it for granted. We just can't take this for granted. And I'm looking around me, and you started out with Romans this morning. I hear the body of Christ going, you know what's really important to me is my freedom. So do not touch my freedom in Jesus. And I'm going, oh my gosh. And that line in the sand is getting very bright. And so all that to be said is I'm going, we're coming into the season. And what is it? Nathan, that one prophetic guy goes, hey, he goes, watch out for the voices coming into the new year. Just listen to him, follow him, focus on him. And I'm going, wow. So I'm kind of getting this sense, this prophetic sense of what you just went through in Florida. I'm going, oh my gosh, it's like it's normative for you and Christine to go through this kind of stuff. And yet at the same time, in the spiritual, there's a lot of stuff just like that happening, and nobody can predict it. And yet God's not going to give up. Our faith is directed in him in obedience and righteousness, you know?
Yeah. And it's not we're just normal people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But, so it's not like, oh, my car is not starting, and you're like looking
Right.
behind every blade of grass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, because people are like that. But
I know the devil popped my tire.
But as prophetic people, it's not. I mean, there's way too many proof texts to say, oh, what happened to you, or what you experienced, or what was just, what you just went through is prophetic because XYZ. You know what I'm saying? That's not unheard of. That's actually scriptural. Not that we could you give us a little bit of a break, but you know what I mean? I would wish that we would respond as such knowingly when it happens, because it gets frustrating. It can get frustrating, and we're just human. But you know what I'm saying? I don't walk around thinking, oh, I'm so prophetic that
Right.
and all this, that's just weird. I'm just a regular guy. I want to get to the place where when crap like that happens, that maybe that's the first thing I think of. Okay, is this is this bigger than me? Is this something else? It's that's but yeah, I mean, I fully see what you're talking. I fully understand what you're talking about. That it could be some, what we just went through was prophetic. Sucks.
It does.
But we came out alive. We did anyway, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Kris, it seems like is the copacetic up where you're at?
Lenny's dreaming of martyrdom and running in the streets of.
Yeah. I don't want to go on a dream like that anymore. Oh my
I had some
God.
trippy dreams last night. I kind of can't remember them though. So there's this group that we meet on Friday nights for dinner. It's about an hour drive away. We've been going down there, and they asked me to share Friday, so that was fun. Kind of jumped off the message I used to preach a couple Sundays back and riffed on Matthew 5 and connection to Deuteronomy 30. And there was like newbies there, coming out of evangelical Christianity. So I was a little not scared, like aware that I might be pushing buttons. But I didn't really hold back and just kind of shared what has become common talk on this show. And 3 or 4 people talked to me after, and like they'd never heard that, and they're like, "There's a lot to chew on there," but we're very receptive. So it was a good time. It was Steph was like, "Wow, you did really good." So she's encouraging, and I don't know. It's just interesting that finding a language. It was good for me to like verbalize in not an unsafe environment. I guess I didn't know. Like the more you talk about it, and it forces you. If you have to, the study you kind of need to do and focus in on where you want to go. And So it's good. I mean, I'm finding language for it to communicate in that world. And I heard something I hadn't heard before in kind of the discussion part of the night. And it was, I had said something, this wasn't the point of my talk, but I'd said something about the 10 Commandments being, you know, Old Testament, and, you know, how we don't throw those out now that we don't do Old Testament, you know, how that it just doesn't make any sense when we're picking and choosing things. And one of the ladies there was talking about I don't know if it's Matthew 18, 19. It's similar to Matthew 5. Maybe it's with Nicodemus, where she was saying, well, we don't murder anymore because Jesus, it was a passage about, well, I guess Nicodemus, he says, do not murder. It's like, how do I get to heaven? It's like, do not murder, don't commit adultery. He's reiterating 10 Commandment language. And so I hadn't heard that argument before of like, well, we do the 10 Commandments because that's the one Jesus implemented. But have you guys heard that one?
No.
That argument?
Nope. That's probably, she heard it from somebody that actually was just talking out of the top of their head.
Yeah.
It's like telling one thing and the story gets down 30 other people. Oh, there's no law. And, oh, by the way, Jesus only taught this.
Yeah, it was a weak, you know, kind of like.
Yeah.
It was more of a question. I'm like, well, yeah, he's obviously reinforcing it, but that's not the summation. Hey, something else. Matthew 17. Me and my daughter were talking about this. When it's saying it's before the transfiguration, and it's saying he waited 6 days. He has the thing with Peter, you know, on the rock I'll build my church. Then they wait 6 days. That's a feast? Is that a feast? Or is that?
I don't know. I can look. Matthew 17.
Yeah. Just researching it a little bit. It was saying it's not determined.
I'm gonna go grab something real quick.
Okay. Transfiguration, you know, it's tied to, you know, Sinai, Moses, and I'm like, it's got to be. Is it Shavuot? You know, I don't know.
You know, I'd have to look it up. I can't remember. I know that when they were there, they were at the gates of hell, basically at the bottom of the mountain, Mount Hermon. And so that's why all that activity was there. The activity was just over the top. And my screen just went out. I'm sorry. There we go.
We still see you.
So I'll have to just look that up. I can't remember at this point what season they were in at that point.
I'm looking that up right now.
I do know this, that when they were there, the example that was made at the bottom, that's when he was taking them on a little journey, and he was speaking directly to the issues of the demonic then, because when he went up on the mountain and all that transfigured, it was at the same place where the watchers came down. And so, again, excellent teaching on that from Michael Heiser. The whole issue of recovering what the gospel was and who Yeshua was. And I think the book was called, I have it in my, I don't want to do it injustice, but you can look it up. It has to do with something with Hermon. So,
so Michael Root's chronological gospels are suggesting that it's tabernacles.
Tabernacles. Okay.
It says, like, for example, in Matthew 17:1, it says, after 6 days, Mark, after 6 days, Luke about 8 days after the teachings. But then if you go back right before that, Luke, because that's Luke 9:28 says about 8 days after the teachings. Luke 9:27, it says, in the following incident, Yeshua invites 3 of these disciples to go with him up to the top of a mountain on Yom Kippur. So the chronological, so Michael Rood is suggesting that the transfiguration was on Yom Kippur, which is makes it even more intense, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Where they will in fact see the kingdom of Elohim, they will see Moses and Elijah and hear the voice of God. And so so it's suggesting it's tabernacles.
That's why they wanted to build 3 booths. That's right. Remember when they said that? Should we build 3 booths?
Yeah.
Wow. There's some digging there. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, this chronological gospels by Michael Rood it's pretty intense. And it's, that's his life's work. I mean, he spent like a couple decades doing this. And and when he did that, it's just a matter of breaking it down.
Right.
I mean, just doing the work. And by doing that, he discovers that his public ministry was only 18 months, not 3 years.
Right.
It was only 1.5 years, which is even makes it. I mean, we're so used to hearing 3 years that it's like we just blaze through it. But when we start thinking it's only 18 months, wow, that's not a lot of time. But then neither is 3 years. But we're just so programmed that 3 years, Yeah, and that's based on the feast cycles that's laid out in the Gospels. And he's not just looking at one; he's looking at, like I said, he's chronologically looking at all 4. Which is, it's a great work. I've got like 2 or 3 versions of it. I believe this was a gift from this version. This big hard one. It was a gift. Was gifted to me from a Chameleon Church person.
Nice.
Thank
I
you.
want to get the large print one because I got their original book and the print is so tiny.
I think this might be a large print one.
Is that the large print one?
I believe so. The print's pretty big.
That's good. Because if you buy the original one,
I've got the original.
Even said it's real tiny and they needed to redo that.
And I've got the chart, the actual chart. I actually have it. I could wrap it around my office if I had the space. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's like a wall chart.
Yikes!
They have it. They have one in the offices, and it's a formative work.
It's a must-have work. It really is.
I highly suggest having a copy of it.
Yeah. They used to have one in a spiral bound, and they said they might bring it back. I've been calling.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
That would be real nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
We modeled Shabbat for about 9 or 10 people last Friday down in Ferndale. It was really good. We had a meal together, and Spirit of God really came, and there were some people that showed up that I didn't know were going to show up. And the one goes, "Would you do this over my house?" And
nice.
A good friend of Linda's, and Linda goes, "Yeah, we will." It's probably after the holidays, but it was really neat. It was neat to get out there. But it's interesting, when we did that, it was after that a lot of shaking went on. It's just blow back from walking right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So much on our plates, man. There's so much going on, so much to do. Pretty exciting stuff, man. Very excited by it all. It's just
I've been preparing Revelation for the last 8 or 9 months, and now he's throwing a kink. He goes, "I also want you to start the book of Hebrews." I'm going, "Oh boy." putting it down on notes to teach type thing. And I'm going, okay. And I have a sense that he's going to make an issue of people learning what covenant is. So I don't know if that's happening. If I'm going to have to look out if anybody's picking up on anything like that, if that's something that the Spirit of God's saying somewhere. Because when you started Romans, when you started your book, it seems like it was just right in line with so many people going through the book of Romans. And I just had this inkling, and I'm going, uh-oh, is Hebrews next? Is covenant next? So, and I've just been hearing that in my ear, so.
Those 18 months come out to 70 weeks. Which makes sense.
Kris, after the show last week, I forget the question you had. It was something out of Matthew 5 about the gifts and everything. That came up, I bet you, 3 different times in conversation about the fool and his folly, and how that person who brings out folly is in danger of hellfire. And it was really pertinent to the people dealing in their relationships and what they needed to do to make things right, or to go and bring understanding to issues that they had. So it was interesting that morning that all that came out, and turns out it turned out to be an avenue for a lot of things that I had to share with people last week.
Cool.
And a big issue of something that's coming down up here in Humboldt with an individual just going off the deep end and having to deal with a situation. And it came back to me, don't rebuke a fool in his folly. If someone's really demonstrating what it means, and how, when Jesus was teaching that, it goes all the way back to Cain and Abel, with the fact that Cain offering his vegetables, his arrogance to saying, this is what came of the fruit of my hands, and how it was unacceptable, and how the Hebrew word there related to someone who's in folly, someone who is just, this is what I did.
Wow.
And
which would explain why he ends up doing what he's doing. He's that guy.
Yeah. And when you think about it, this is what brought me to tears, is that Abel offered something he didn't create.
And it was considered a first fruits.
That's right.
Which was in alignment with God's heart.
And it slaughtered, and he had nothing to do. And it brought me to this point. I'm going, maybe you can shine some light. Remember when the scripture says, and the blood of righteous Abel still cries out? There's a connection there with that first fruit offering that he did, and what the cry of his heart was. What is the cry of that heart of righteous Abel? And so I've been trying to get some thoughts on that. I'm still not getting clarity, but I know there's something there.
But I think part of that righteousness is based on the fact that he was murdered for doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He did not. In fact, he did it right.
Right.
And because he did it right, God accepted, received his offering, and then he gets killed for it.
Yeah.
Which not only now sets the standard for people being killed for the truth and righteousness' sake. That's why that scene in The Chosen, where he's going to send them out, 2 by 2, 2 and 2. And then he brings up the possibility of them being in danger, and they all like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
This could be bad. We could get hurt for this. And he's just looking at them. He can't say anything. And I'm like, oh my, and I'm sitting there weeping. I'm like, oh my God, he knows they're all going to die. He knows that everyone but one of them is going to die a really not cool death. They're not going to die. They're going to be killed. They're going to be murdered. That's different than dying. And he's sitting there prepping them to go out to go do something that's going to eventually get them killed. And he had to like, that's so.
Yeah, there's much more. He says in John 16, there's much more to tell you that you can't handle. He was withholding the fullness of
Whatever you think your life is about, it's not about that.
Mm.
Not you, Kris. I'm talking to the people.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, please continue.
Well, he was a good leader in the sense of, the perfect leader, but in the sense of like he knew those following him could only take so much, and he knew where that line was. Sometimes he's pushing it, but other times he's knowing when to say what. A discernment, a holy discernment of what to say and when to say it and what not to say. And it's different. It's different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting, I mean, we've talked about Cain before, is how did he know what was a right sacrifice?
His father told him.
Yeah, and like, I mean, how?
And who told his father? His father.
Pre-Abraham, right? Pre-Abraham, and
everything. Yeah,
like this understanding of what is correct for the Lord.
Well, Torah is in the creation. After 6 days, he took the Sabbath, made it holy. There's Torah, chapter 2 of Genesis. It goes all the way back to the beginning. So, it's crazy.
Wow. Lots of thoughts in my heart right now.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions about anything?
Wow. 70 weeks, 70 nations. That's right. He was the Word at the beginning, the living Torah. That's right, Alyssa. Here's something I was thinking about, because Allan triggered me on this one about, the whole issue, or in Ephesians 3, it talks about Jesus in our hearts. And you think about the blood that was shed, that Abel gave those first fruits, just the whole tie-in to Jesus all the way through. And I remember I brought this out when I was doing my series on the Church in Splendor, the bride that's beautiful that he made, that has the authority to discombobulate the principalities and powers with wisdom. And that one little verse that a lot of times is so misrepresented, when Jesus lives in our heart by faith. The word there for heart, kilia, it's the same word for kidney. And you have to believe it's more than a metaphor. Because if he does live in our heart, and it says we truly have the faith to believe that is spiritual, that it represents the kidney that filters the blood, a thought came to my mind. I couldn't prove it. But if we truly are in that process of that salvation, of him living in our hearts and walking in the full understanding of what the Holy Spirit has given us and deposited us, that means that semblance of the DNA of the living God. Not to say that he has DNA, he created it, but his blood that runs through our kidneys, that lives in our heart, that same word in the Hebrew, that something that's a mystery that we can't define, makes me want to weep, because I'm going, his presence in me? I should just be overjoyed with an incredible thankfulness that he loves me that much, that he shares my very body. And yet at the same time, he goes, yeah, and what if you walk in that to demonstrate the kingdom and my healing because of the authority and the reality of the supernatural living within you? And I'm going, how come I can't stay in that mind space all the time?
I know, right?
I'm going, how come it's so fleeting and it goes in and out? And something hits me and I'm just, there I go, off in my anger mode or stupidity mode. Boy, I've been stupid a couple times this last week. Oh my gosh. And I'm going, and yet he lives in that blood flow in my heart, my kidney. And that word's a real word. That whole word, kilia, it goes back to that. And here he was in the beginning. And just the connection of things that we're going to learn that we just don't know, that are so deep beyond our mind. It's too wonderful for us, type of thing, you know? Those are the kind of things I'm going, that gets me out of the funk, that just says, okay, Lord, I go, just continually change me, surprise me, bring life to me, correct me. I love it. Please do, bring it on, Lord, everything you can. And he goes, yeah, I'm that close to you. Can you believe it? And will you walk in it? Just a thought.
This comment must be right. So this pastor was preaching on Cain and Abel this week. Said Abel brought his offering with faith. Cain brought his out of a duty. So this connects to Deuteronomy 30, and I've been chewing on this in my latest teachings. So desire, the concept of desire and will. So when our desire to do something, or our heart's desire, lines up with our will, so our action, that's worship. So if you see, one of my favorite verses is in Psalm 73, it's 25. There's nothing on earth I desire besides you. It didn't say there's nothing I desire more than you, meaning there's a desire. It's talking about there is one sole desire. There's nothing I desire besides you. And if you look at Luke 22, Jesus is in the garden, he's praying, sweating drops of blood. And his desire, he's like, take this cup from me. Or this is what it looks like. I don't. If you were giving me the choice, is there another way? Do we really have to do this? Is it like? But yet he says, but not my will. So his heart, his desire is wanting something, but his will is, he said, but your will be done. And so he, in that moment, he's allowing his desire to come into alignment with the Father's will. And then he goes to the cross in the power of his Father.
Wow.
But he's worshiping. This is an act of worship because he's saying, and this is a model for prayer, right? The Psalms model prayer. It's not emotions are off limit. It's what you do with your emotion. Be angry and do not sin. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. Jesus is talking about this in Matthew 5 when he's talking about angry, right? When he's talking about murder. Great, you didn't murder someone. Look how great I am. I hate that guy. He's driving me angry, but good for him. I didn't kill him. Lucky him, I didn't kill him. And Jesus in Matthew 5 is reinforcing Torah, and then he's adding another rule. Right, don't bring murder. And in Nicodemus, he's saying, don't murder. And he's saying, you did all those things. Oh, you did all those things already? Oh, great. Here's something else. Sell everything you own and give to the poor. Wait, that's a new rule? Well, what's he checking? He's checking his heart. He's checking his desire. It's like, your desire is wrong. Your desire wants what you want. And that there's not a Torah rule against that. It's reinforcing it's your heart. Your hearts are far from me. You honor me with your lips, your heart's far from me. Matthew 5. Great. You didn't murder. Great. You didn't divorce your wife. But do you have intimacy with your wife? Do you really know? Like you can do all the rules, but your heart's far from me. So Jesus is saying, and I think this relates to Cain and Abel, it's your heart. And what this post we just put up from Brent, if you have will without desire, so you're doing all the rules, but your heart, that's duty, that's compliance. And the Lord is saying, no, I don't want duty and compliance, because the Matthew 5, you're dutiful. You did all this, you did all the rules, but unless your righteousness exceeds the Pharisees, right?
That's right.
You can do all the rules, and he's not saying they're unrighteous. He's saying that's righteousness, but they're doing it out of duty and compliance. But he's checking their desire. He's checking their heart. He says, "But your hearts are from me. I want your heart. I want intimacy." That's the complete point that we're talking about in Deuteronomy 30. The word "heart" says it over and over and over. Cain and Abel, it was a heart posture. Cain brought the sacrifice. Look, I followed the rules. I did what you said. But he's like, he doesn't know the Lord. Is it John 15? What's the passage where Jesus says, "Me and my Father will come and make my home with you"?
John 17.
And I just get this picture, like I'm sitting in my office and the driveway's here, and I can hear when like the Amazon delivery or the UPS truck shows up, right? You hear this, and there's one cat. You know it's the UPS guy because he's rocking the tunes. Like he's playing. It's the UPS guy, not the Amazon guy. Now think of this, like we hear the truck backing up, beep, beep, and I look out the window. It's not the Amazon guy. It's not UPS. It's a U-Haul. And you're like, who's backing up a U-Haul? And then I I'll run out there and tell Steph, I'm like, oh, they're here. They said they were coming. And we look out, and it's Jesus and the Father unloading the candlesticks, unloading all the temple, everything in U-Haul. And like, I told you we were going to move in and make our home with you. We're like, oh, we weren't ready. Did you clean the bathroom? Did you get that stuff out? The Lord's here, and that's intimacy. If you're in the Father, if I'm in you, you're in the Father, because I'm in the Father's in me. You're in me, you're in the Father. Like, that's intimacy, and that's what the Lord wants, and that's your heart. And now, if your desire, like we pray like Jesus in the garden, Lord, here's my emotion. It's what we do with it. You can be angry, but what do you do with it? You tell the Lord, I'm angry, Lord. I let you see when I don't know. I need the Spirit. You got to help me from saying something that I'll regret saying to my wife or my kids. Help me, Lord. Help me. You're letting go. And in that, we align our desire with the Father's desire, which will affect our decision, the manifestation of our heart in our will. And my commands are not burdensome, right? We love the Father. We do his commands, not out of duty, but because our desire is aligned with the Father's. And that whole Cain Abel sacrifice out of duty is what triggered me with that. So my heart is like, when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, when I'm like, okay, Lord, my desire is wrong. I align my desire in prayer. I align my desire with yours, Lord, which will now affect my will. What I say, what I do today, what I stop doing, what I say to my kids, how I spend my money. I don't know. I'm done.
That's good.
Don't obey out of duty. Obey because we love. Obey because our desire is aligned with the Father. Here's the crazy thing. When you do the commands, it works on your desire. You know, like the mental assent to, okay, we're doing something different about Christmas this year. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have a meal on Friday night with our family. I'm gonna blow the shofar. I'm gonna activate Torah in my life. That chart starts changing your desire. You guys agree? No?
And well, it also helps if you got those Advent candles going.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Oh boy. If you really love me, keep my commands. That's what
It says, if you love me, you will keep my
you will keep my commands.
Yeah.
That will is a big one. Oof.
Mhm. So, guys, what's up with the Epstein files? Let's bring it back to reality. Oh my gosh.
Well, I know I'm not on those. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of desire and will,
Crazy stuff out there.
Two more bodies to be released from Gaza, I think. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East that they're not reporting right now. Tons of stuff. Repositioning of a lot of things.
And that's just what we know.
Yeah.
So we should have a new moon this weekend.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I haven't been paying attention. What day should we start looking?
Friday, Saturday.
Saturday?
So we have looks like potential Rosh Kodesh. Well, we have a Rosh Kodesh this weekend. Then Thanksgiving. Get your turkey on. Get your turkey and stuffs on.
It's going to be quiet. We're going to cook a turkey for the kids. It's just us with them this year. Their whole family, it's getting, they're kind of like scattered right now on my son-in-law's side, right? They're doing a lot of different things. So it's just me and Linda and the boys and Alex and Ross.
Yeah.
It'll be intimate. I was hoping to get maybe down to LA because my brother really wanted me to come on down. But once the new Breeze Airlines get in there, because Avella was taken out, it's going to be a lot nicer. $39 to Burbank. So, yes. But that's not happening till the end of February. Are you guys getting snow right now, Alan?
No, I think we're supposed to get our first snow on Tuesday. It's been late. It's usually the first weekend of November, and it's about 3 weeks late. Yeah. So, well, nice seeing you guys. Nice chatting with you.
Yep.
And as usual on Chameleon Church Facebook and Band, we'll let everybody know about the moon, and we love it when you guys take your pictures of the new moon, visible crescent, and post them where you see it from, so we can declare Rosh Kodesh has occurred. And what else? I think that's about it. Father, protect your people in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
The views and opinions expressed during our broadcasts are solely those of the broadcast producers, hosts, and/or guests, etc., and are not necessarily the views or opinions of the Travelog Network, its sponsors, or affiliates.